Hi guys, I've got a new planner to show you today. This is the Jolie 2018 weekly planner. It's made by the company Sigel. It's a German company that makes planners and stationery products. They're very widely available in Europe. I got mine on Amazon UK and I'll leave that link down below. The Jolie line is a range of very beautiful, colorful planners that come in all different cover designs, and that's what initially attracted me to them. If you look at the product page, which I'll leave linked down below, it says that they're specifically designed for women, and that's certainly how they're marketed, but I think that they could appeal to anyone, both women and men, who like colorful planners with a huge range of cover options. This is an A5 planner, although it's actually more of an A5 slim. I'll just show you what it looks like in comparison to my A5 Leuchtturm, which is a true A5. You can see that it's a little bit smaller both in width and in length. And now if I compare it to my Moleskine Daily planner, which is an A5 Slim, you can see that it's exactly the same width, and the Jolie planner is a little bit shorter. So it's actually not really an A5, but it's pretty close. It's a hardback planner, which I really like. It's thread bound, and you can see it has an elastic strap. I'll just take off this information here that it comes with on the cover, and now you can see that it has another really cool feature, which is one of the main things that drew me to this planner apart from the beautiful cover. It has an inbuilt pen loop. I love that because I like to have a pen loop per planner and a pen per planner, and I think it makes it so much more convenient if you have a bound planner that has its own pen loop. So the other thing that really appealed to me about this planner is the incredible cover. So I'm not sure how well you can see this on camera, but it's actually embossed, so this has an incredible texture. The leaves are more prominent, and then you can see this detailing here is sunken, and then you've got these incredible little jeweled accents. So I think it's just really well done. It looks and feels very luxurious, and I think that it's just stunning. There are all kinds of different designs, so you should definitely check out the Amazon link or the Sigel website, which will show you all of the different combinations that you can get these in. So this is what the front looks like, and this is the side. I really like this little detail here. It says 2018 in silver foiling, and then this is the back. So it doesn't have any explicit branding, it just has this little butterfly, which is the emblem of the Jolie line. And I really like that because I've realized that I'm not keen on planners that have branding on the front. So I think that this is just really beautiful, very understated and elegant. So when you open it, you have this incredible end paper which matches the cover design. And this is the only one that I've seen, so I don't know what the other designs would look like, but I would assume that they would have a similar thing where you get end paper that matches the design of the cover. I just think that's really striking and beautiful. It's a bit thicker cardstock. And then it says Jolie, All About Me, Calendar 2018 Diary Agenda. So the whole thing is trilingual. It's in German, English, and French, which I like. And then it has 3 blank lines here where you can write whatever you want to write, which I also think is a nice touch because it doesn't dictate what you should write here. So if you wanted to leave it blank, it makes it quite easy, and it doesn't specify. So if you wanted to put your name, you could put that. If you wanted to put something else, you could put whatever you want. The paper is 80 GSM, and I've done a pen test, which I'll show you in a minute. In terms of its look and its feel, it feels quite different to me than, say, Moleskine or Leuchtturm paper, which both have a very creamy, soft, smooth feel. It's higher GSM than the Moleskine, which is 70. I think it's about the same as Leuchtturm, but it feels a little bit rougher, and it's also slightly grayer. It's not really cream and it's not really white. It feels more on the gray side. It reminds me of recycled copy paper, if that's of any help. So for some reason I feel like this paper isn't as nice or as luxurious as either Moleskine or Leuchtturm, although that's a completely impressionistic statement. I don't really know why I feel like that. I've been thinking about this over the past few days and have been trying to come up with some kind of coherent explanation. I think it must be something about the toothiness and the hue that make it feel a bit different. And so I'd say the paper is the one weak point of this planner that somehow doesn't feel like it matches the cover, if that makes any sense. But in terms of how it holds up to fountain pen, I've done this test with all kinds of different fountain pens. I had a kind of fountain pen explosion here, so just ignore all of these ink splatters. But you can see I've tested it with a range of different inks and different nib sizes, and it's pretty good. There's a little bit of bleed through here and some ghosting, but it's, if anything, it's better than Leuchtturm, better than Moleskine, I would say, certainly not any worse. So it's okay in terms of how it holds up. It's just that it somehow doesn't, it has a feel, it feels to me more like photocopy paper, if that makes any sense. But like I said, that's completely irrational, it's just my impression. So that's the paper. Then it has a little key here for the different abbreviations that it's going to have, and then it goes into a yearly overview for 2018. So you get each month in a little box, which is unusual, I think, compared to the other planners of a similar design that I've seen. And I would say overall, this reminds me most of 3 different planner brands, Moleskine, Leuchtturm, and Paper Blanks. They're the ones that are most similar in terms of the design and the layout. But this still has quite a few features that are unlike any of those. So it goes from January to December. You get the week number on the left of the box, and then you get a calendar starting on Monday, which I love, going through to Sunday, and Saturday and Sunday are both grayed out. Sunday is in bold and the gray is a little darker than Saturday. And it says 2018 at the top. And then you get a vertical overview, which I also really like. So you've got 2 months per page. It has the date and then the day of the week, and then it lists if it's a holiday in a few different countries. So I think that the countries that it uses, that it lists, are Germany, Austria, Switzerland, the UK, and France. And that's true going through the whole planner. And then again, you have Saturday and Sunday grayed out, and it also lists the moon phases, which is cool. So I really love these vertical spreads. I think that they can be used for all kinds of things, from tracking to giving you a little mini overview for forward planning. And so that goes all the way through until December 2018. And you can see here the stitching for the thread binding. So this little running gray line at the top is something that you'll see throughout the planner. You can see here on the side that this runs throughout the whole planner, so it will be giving you different information depending where we are in the planner, but that's a constant throughout. This little gray running header. And this I think is quite nice, because if you wanted to, you could put some kind of header in here. If you wanted to use this, say, for tracking, you could put what you're tracking here. So at the end of that, you have some information pages. So it starts with holidays, and again the whole thing is trilingual, which I think is really nice. So you have them for Germany, Switzerland, the UK, France, and Austria, and it explains what the symbols are for. This is for the German holidays, it's abbreviations for different regions. Then you have school holidays in the different countries. Some of them are left blank, so for example, Switzerland and the UK and France, it leaves them in, so you have to fill in the dates, whereas for Germany and Austria, it gives you the dates in the different regions. Then you get into some information which is more similar to the Moleskine information that you get at the beginning of those planners, which you know what I think about that if you've seen my videos on the Moleskines. I feel like this information is something that I would generally rather look up online, and I'd prefer to have more notes pages or project planning pages or some other kind of planner related information rather than this kind of stuff. But I know that not everybody feels like that, so it could be useful, especially if this is your main planner. So country codes for dialing, and it also has some other information like what the currency is and the capital. So that's kind of cool. Then this is something that I've never seen in another planner. It has a page of yoga exercises, which I think is quite cool, but also intimidating because these all look super advanced to me, and I don't think I could ever do any of these except for these two and that one. But you've got that, and then you have a page which I do think is really useful, 2 pages in fact, of an hourly schedule planner. So this is like the timetable that you get in the back of the Hobonichi. So it has a little clock icon and then people. So it could be like for your family. So they give you suggestions, hourly schedule / family planner. So you could use this to indicate what all the different members of your family are doing on any given day at any given time, or you could use it for tracking various things in your own life. So if I were using this as my main planner, I would use it as a teaching timetable for when my lessons are. And then it goes from Monday through Sunday, and it gives you 10 boxes. So that's really useful. Every other one is blank, every other one is gray. And then you get 2 of those. So you could use one, say, for your own work schedule, for example, and then you could use another one for different members of your family for different things. You could also use it, I guess, as a weekly schedule for indicating recurring tasks and appointments. So I think that this is a really useful spread. I like that. Then we get some more information, which can also be really useful, information pages. So birthdays, you get 5 per month, so from January to December. And then here you get some information which I've never seen in another planner. So this is gift ideas. Well, correction, I've seen that in the Hobonichi, but that's the only planner I think. Maybe Inkwell Press, the weekly planner, has something like this too, but this is quite unusual, certainly for this type of planner. I've never seen anything like this. So it's got little people icons and then present icons. Then it has star signs, which I think is also really cool. And this is actually listed throughout the planner. They'll tell you when it's the first day of each star sign. So that's cool. Then you have international clothing sizes for women and men. And some pictures here, and then you can write my size and his size. So you see, I think that's kind of prescriptive. I wish that they had just said my size and then left this blank, because it's kind of restrictive the way they've done that. And then they've got international size shoe sizes, which can be useful. Wash symbols, so like different washing and drying symbols. Again, something I've never seen anywhere else. And then they go even further, and they have emergency call numbers in different countries, which could be quite useful, I guess, especially if you're traveling. And they've got first help, first aid, and units of measurement. So between imperial and metric. And they've also got temperature conversions and speeds in kilometers and miles. So some of this information could be useful if you're traveling, and obviously it's all on the internet, but if you know that it's in your planner, you could just look it up and not have to check the internet. So again, I kind of have mixed feelings about these, because I feel like, personally, I would say rather have some more of these spreads or some kind of other calendar spreads than this, but I know that there are people who use this kind of information and would like to have it in their planner. So I think they've included a lot of interesting information that you don't really usually get in planners. Then we go on to the first weekly spread, and we are all delighted about the fact that the 1st of January is a Monday. So the first spread starts on Monday, the 1st of January 2018. And you can see here at the top of the page, it has a little 1. So if you see, you can't really see it very well. I don't think it's coming up on camera, but on both the left and the right, you have the number of the month shaded in gray. And so that kind of continues throughout the whole planner. It's not quite as visible as, say, in the Hobonichi, but you can still see on the side that there's a faint gray marking, so you can flip straight to the month if you want to. Obviously, this follows the same setup as the Hobonichi, the Moleskine, and paper blanks, which also have monthly spreads like this right at the beginning of the planner, rather than having them interspersed throughout the weeks. I should point out that unlike the Moleskine, this one doesn't have a monthly spread like this. So I kind of think maybe instead of these information pages, it would have been nice to have a monthly spread with boxes, but it's okay. They've got this, which serves a similar function. So for each day, you have a line spread, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. The printing on this is all gray, so it's quite understated, which I like. And you get that gray header at the top, and then you can see what the font is like here. It's quite a nice font, I like it. I'm very particular about fonts, so if I don't like the font of a planner, that really puts me off, and I think this is a nice one. And you have the number quite bold, which I think is nice as well. It's bigger than the day. Then again, everything is trilingual, and you have an indication of public holidays. So this is New Year's Day, and it lists the countries where it's a holiday, which is all of the countries that it lists. So this has a much smaller range of countries that it lists than Moleskine or Leuchtturm, which have quite an extensive international range. This is limited to those few countries that I mentioned before. So something else that I really like about this, which is different to both the Moleskine and the Leuchtturm horizontal layout planners, is that you don't have a shared weekend. Yay! So as you know, that's one of my deal breakers. So I think it's awesome that each weekend day gets its own day, and then you have a space for notes at the bottom. So Monday start, Monday through Thursday on the left-hand side, Friday through Sunday on the right-hand side, and then the notes page, the notes lines, which are the same as, they're equal to the daily pages. The daily sections. Then you have this little butterfly down at the bottom, which is their insignia, and it gives you the month name at the top left, and then at the top right on the left hand side of the page it tells you what the week number is, and then it's got the month again. And you have a bookmark, as you can see, so the bookmark matches the color of the cover, which I think is very nice. And then it carries on like that. So this is the only layout that they have. So this line has a lot of different cover options, but it doesn't really have any variety in the inside, at least not for 2018. So this is really useful if you are looking for a horizontal planner and you don't want a shared weekend, because this is the only one of this type of bound planner that I know of that has this kind of layout that well, except for the Erin Condren small hardbound planner, actually. That's the closest that has a similar layout to this. So then we just carry on, always giving you the week number. It always tells you the name of the month, and as you can see, the top of each page tells you what the month is, and you can just scroll down like this and it just carries on throughout the rest of the year. One really cool thing which I wanted to show you is how, as I mentioned, it will indicate the first day of every new star sign. So this is the beginning of Aries, and it has this little symbol here, which I think is really cool, and then it lists the days that that star sign is valid. So from the 21st of the 3rd to the 20th of the 4th. So I think that's really cool. And it carries on until the beginning of January 2019. So the last week starts on the 31st of December, and then you get until Sunday the 6th of January. And then it starts over again with week 1 here. So that's what the weekly spreads look like. And then you have another feature which I really, really like, and that is a 2019 vertical spread. So this is something that Moleskine used to do, and then they they stopped doing it, and I was really disappointed because I had found it extremely useful when they did it, and I used it for forward planning. So I think it's quite nice not to have a full box, but just to have this vertical spread, because by the time you get close to the end of your planner, say by the time you get to October, oh, there's Scorpio. I really like this feature. You start having appointments for the next year, right? And so I think it's great to have a dedicated space where you can write them in, and you usually don't have a ton to write here because you'll soon be switching over to your 2019 planner. But I think in the meantime, it's really nice to be able to have somewhere where you can note them down. And this is perfect for that. So it's exactly the same as the 2018 one that we saw at the beginning of the planner. If you can hear snoring, by the way, that's Tails. He's lying right next to the tripod. So I just think that this is a really convenient spread. It's exactly the same. It gives you the holidays, it gives you the moon phases, and it's just like a little mini 2019 calendar with space to write. So I think that's awesome. And it goes for the whole of 2019, which can be very useful because sometimes you might have an appointment that you need to write down way in advance, and it's great to have a dedicated space for that. It also gives you the week number, by the way. So I'll show you this. I didn't show you this at the beginning, but it's very, very faint, so I'm not sure how well you can see it, but this says 14, 15, 16, 17, so it tells you the number of the week, which is a feature that I never actually use in practical terms, but I always like having it there for some reason. So it does the same for the 2019 spread. And then it gives you a 2019 calendar on one page, which I think is also nice just to have for reference. So there's no space to write here, but this is useful if you just want to quickly consult when a particular date falls in 2019, and then this is the place where you can record appointments. Then you've got some more interesting features at the back that I haven't seen a lot in other planners. You have an address book, and it's built into the planner. So Leuchtturm and in some cases Moleskine give you a separate address book, but this is the first time I've seen one that's built into the planner, and it's only 3 sides, which I think is about right, because most of us don't need to record a ton of addresses in our planners, but some people like to keep a paper version of phone numbers and email addresses, and I often get email addresses and phone numbers and sometimes addresses of people, and I write them down in the back of my cousin on a blank spread, but it's quite nice to have a space dedicated for that. And then you have another interesting feature, which is a whole bunch of lined note pages. So you actually have about 50 pages of notes, which is more than I've ever seen in a bound planner like this. Look at how much you get. So this is the planner part of the book, and then this is the note pages. So I think that that's really impressive. Line note pages. And another cool feature is that the last, I think maybe 25 of them are perforated, so you can tear them out, which I think is a great feature because it basically alleviates the need for sticky notes. If you have some information that you want to give somebody, which I've often had, you can just tear it out of the back of the planner. And another thing, of course, is that if you make a mess on a page, you can tear that out as well, which I'm sort of tempted to do with this page where the ink splattered. And then at the end it says discover your new diary. It has some information about the paper. It's paper from responsible sources. They also have a whole section on their website about environmental responsibility and how they are carbon neutral in their shipping and printing. So I think that's quite good. And then you've got the same end paper that you had at the front, and you also have a pocket in the back. This pocket feels to me a bit less sturdy than the pocket on the Moleskine or the Leuchtturm. It feels more like paper, thick paper, but paper, whereas in the Moleskine and the Leuchtturm they feel like kind of more like sturdy card to me. So I'm not sure how well this will hold up, but the side is reinforced with something so it doesn't tear. And it doesn't have anything in it. And then you have the magnificent pen loop, which I've already mentioned, and the back has the back of the elastic closure there. And that's it. So I think that this is a really, really nice planner. It's definitely worth considering if you like this kind of layout and you like bound planners, just because it has such a beautiful cover and it has the built-in pen loop and it has all of those really nice features. And I think the note paper is an incredible element to include that you see very rarely. to that degree. My only complaint about it really is that I'm not that keen on the paper, and I feel like I can't describe that very well, but if you see it compared to the Leuchtturm and the Moleskine, I think, well, you might see what I mean, but it's certainly not enough to put me off of it, because I think it's a great planner overall and has a lot of really cool features. So I hope that you found this interesting. Let me know if you have any questions about it that I haven't answered in the video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!